Right on. Well, if you don't know me, my name is Amir Kajabi. I'm the founder of the Rezcom Networking Group. And we got a good-looking crowd here tonight, man. If you're good-looking, say, here I am.
Amen.
All right. Of course, just a couple people. If you notice, I didn't say here I am. But anyway, first of all, we just want to thank Bitwise Industries and Talisha. Let's give it up for Talisha. If you don't know this wonderful, wonderful woman, you need to know her before you leave these premises. If you've never, this is their first time at Bitwise? Raise your hand. Wow, fantastic. That's why we do these events. I'm sure a lot of you have seen in the news all the fantastic things that Bitwise Industries has done in this community to revitalize downtown. All those burdens fall on Talisha, of course, but we thank Bitwise for everything they're doing in this community. And if you want a tour, please connect with her and they'll schedule something for your business. Well, we're here to talk about Butler Branding and specifically branding your company. Sean and I have been friends for a couple of years now, and when I first started the Rezcom Networking Group, I had a personal network of about 100 people. And through people like Sean picking their brain, asking for their advice, how to market our company, in less than a year, my personal network grew to about 1,000 business professionals. And so if you are here tonight, you are in for a very, very special treat to learn how to market and specifically brand your company. So without further ado, please silence your cell phones so there's no distractions while we see this video. And after that, we'll have Sean come up and treat us with some words of wisdom. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
All right, how you guys doing? Good. Before I get started with the talk, I got to make a little shameless plug, and so I will let the video do the talking for me. And here we go. All right, this is going to be kind of awkward because I'm mic'd up and I'm holding a mic and I have my pointer, so we'll see how this goes tonight. My name is Sean. I am, hold on, let me see, this is not working. Boom. There it is. All right, that's me. If you guys are on Snapchat and you want to see a little bit of behind the scenes, how we run our agency and how I try to balance life and everything in it, snap me or follow me on Facebook. Or you could always follow us as Butler Branding on Facebook if you guys want to get more information about some of the things we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to see how this goes tonight because I think, how many of you guys heard about this event on Facebook? Okay, pretty much everybody. Okay, what about, where else did we, how many of you received an email and heard about it through some, okay, there you go. How many of you just like stumbled upon here and you, okay, there you go, we got Ted. I think a lot of you guys, either you run businesses, you're a business owner, you're a marketing person, and maybe you came here to hear some marketing tactics like the how-to. What platform should I use? Should I be on Facebook? How do I use Facebook? And really, I'm going to take us about 5 steps back and talk about the strategy that's going to drive any kind of marketing that you're going to do. And so I don't know if that's going to be upsetting to you guys, but it's actually one of the most important things you need to be thinking about. So we're not talking about me tonight. We're literally going to be talking about you and your business and how you can connect with your users in the 21st century. And that's what we do at Butler. The agenda for tonight, as a whole, not just this talk, is I want to give some kind of clarity, because I think when it comes to search engine optimization, like how do I get found on Facebook or online, a lot of times it's like magic snake oil, and people come to us and they say, hey, I'll get you #1 on Google, and this is how we're going to do it. And they talk way over your head, and you're like, I don't know how it works. Take my money, make it happen. You give them your money, it didn't happen, and you're like, what the heck happened? And so I want to bring some kind of clarity as to how it works, because it's really not all that difficult if you know how to do it right. The other thing is I want to equip you with some tactics. What we do as a brand design agency is we help brands connect with their users. And we do that through a process of strategy and design. And the strategy piece is the part that most businesses neglect, but it's the most important part. And so I'm going to give you I'm going to equip you with some tactics of how to do brand strategy and marketing strategy. And then I'll actually give you, one marketing tactic that we use. And then also collaboration. This isn't about me. This is all about you guys and investing into the community. The goal is to have at least 4 of these events this year. And based on your guys' feedback from tonight, it'll tell us how many more of these we're going to do, maybe at Bitwise or at other events. We do have the next coffee and marketing event scheduled for April 5th. So mark your calendars for that. That will be at Cup of Joy in Fresno. And it'll be a much smaller event, and so that'll be on a first come, first served basis. So if you're here tonight, you will have, if you signed up and registered at the front and we have your email, you'll have a 2-week head start on anybody else to register for that event. And so collaboration, not just collaborating on how to market your business, but collaborating with other business owners. And so hopefully you guys are networking, meeting some new people. We have people from the Rezcom Group. We have people from Bitwise. We have people from the Fresno Chamber, the Clovis Chamber. Make use of your time. Talk to people. Don't be posted up in a corner by yourself or talking to the same exact people. Talk to someone you've never met before, because either it's not about how much you could get out of them. It's about making those connections, because you never know what you're going to get in the future. And so that's what the agenda for the night is. Our agenda for this talk is 4-fold. One is I want to clarify some terms that I think are thrown around a lot and people don't really understand what they are. Second is I want to identify some stumbling blocks, some things that might be holding you guys back from marketing effectively. Third is I want to outline our process of brand strategy, how we go through strategy, how we have a structured framework before we touch any kind of code, before we go to Facebook, before we go to Google. What is the structured framework? And then give you guys some actual tactics. So you guys excited for that? All right. You know what I forgot to do was start my timer. I don't know if I set myself up for failure, because I have about 40-something slides in this deck, and I don't think I'm going to be able to go in deep in all of the topics. So I'm going to do this for you if you email me. If you want a copy of the slide deck, email me. Get my card at one of the tables out there, and I'll do that for you. All right, disclaimer. I've never had an original idea in my life. I actually stole that quote from one of my mentors. And the reason why I give this disclaimer is because I'm not teaching anything new. All the information's out there, right? I'm just a hodgepodge of all the research and collaboration that I've had with other people. These are some of the known sources that I'm stealing from. I am an idea vampire, and so if you give me an idea and it works, I'm going to steal it and use it tomorrow. So just to give you that disclaimer as well. But these are some of the known sources. My coach, Chris Doe from thefuture.com. If you are in the business of design, you need to check out his YouTube video. I basically have learned pretty much almost all of brand strategy through some of the things that he's taught me and places that he's pointed me to. I'm also going to be quoting from Marty Neumeier's The Brand Gap, Beyond Disruption from Jean-Marie Drew, and a book called Creative Strategy and the Business of Design from Douglas Davis. Now I'm saying these are my known sources. I'm probably stealing stuff from other places too, so if you hear something that sounds familiar, hey, I heard Gary Vaynerchuk say that, I probably stole it from him. Okay, give me a break. So the 3 terms that I want to clarify: branding, marketing, and disruption. When I say the word branding, or what is your brand, what is a brand? What comes to your mind? Okay, now don't say it out loud, but think about it. Like if someone were to say, how would you define a brand? What is that? A lot of people think branding is all about design, logo design and identity systems, and how can I make my, my graphics a little bit better. That's what branding is. It's all about putting my logo on something. And there's companies out there that say, hey, we do branding. Okay, how do you do that? We get your logo and we throw it on a cup. That's branding. That's not what branding is, okay? Branding is a person's gut feeling. In other words, your brand is not what you say it is, it's what they say it is. Everybody in here, if you have a company, if you run a company, even if you don't have a company and you're just yourself, you have a personal brand. Because everybody has a personal feeling about your company, your products, your services, right? So if you're not intentional about your brand, they're gonna develop a feeling anyway. And so that's what the art of branding is. If this is true, you can't really design a brand, right? So I'm a brand design agency. Well, what does that mean? I can't really design a brand because I can't design people's gut feeling. What I can do, the best I can do, is influence it through what we call brand experiences, right? And so brand experiences are all the different touch points that a customer might have with your company. And so you think about what are the different brand experiences you have. If you're a small company, a business card, that's a brand experience. They're now introduced to your brand. They see your logo on something. That's a brand experience. When someone calls and you pick up the phone and you have a rude person answering the phone, that's a brand experience. That's a negative brand experience. So it's things like Facebook, the mobile experience, emails, social media, video, your brochures, all of these things have to do with brand experiences. So branding, the art of branding is really the technique of influencing people's gut feeling through experiences. And so when you're working with a branding company, say, hey, how do you do that? And if they just throw your logo on something, that's not what branding is, and that's not gonna really help you as a business. You gotta think about how are they gonna help influence people's gut feeling about what I do? That's what branding is. Okay, so marketing. I think a lot of people get the idea of marketing twisted. They get it confused with advertising, right? Advertising is about awareness. It's about getting your name out there. It's the billboard, right? The billboard is not marketing. The billboard is advertising. An ad on the radio is not marketing, that's advertising. And you have to understand the difference so that you can be, you know what to expect in return. I hear people all the time, and I'm for TV, I'm for radio ads. But I think the question that people ask is like, well, what's my return going to be if I invest X amount of dollars in radio advertising? That's the wrong question. It's how many people am I going to put my brand in front of? That's the right question. So that's what advertising is. But marketing is all about initiating a conversation, right? And so the difference between inbound marketing and outbound marketing is about who is initiating the conversation. All right, so track with me. I'm going to think about it like, I use this analogy in dating, right? Think about dating. You're on the market, you're looking for somebody, you're going to the marketing meetup. Hopefully you'll meet someone good looking. And you know what? I'm gonna position myself to look so attractive that the person that I'm attracted to is gonna initiate that conversation. So that's what inbound marketing is. Inbound marketing is where the customer, the person that you're trying to attract, initiates the conversation with you. How does that happen? That means you put on some cologne before you came here, you fix your hair, you made yourself look good, and then you're positioning yourself the way you carry yourself. You set your eyes on somebody to where you're hoping to get their attention, and they come up to you and initiate that conversation. That's what inbound marketing is all about. So how do you do that as a business? It's all about content creation. What kind of content are you creating to make yourself valuable and stand out apart from all the noise, right? So how are people looking at you? How are they attracted to you? What things are you putting out there that is going to say for your target audience, I'm gonna go to them. I'm gonna initiate the conversation, and whatever the conversation is, and the conversation isn't usually, hey, can I buy your services? It's maybe some question about your expertise, right? And so we hold things like this. My whole thing is about educating and serving and giving value. I'm not making any money off of this thing tonight. I'm giving you guys practical things to take away. Why? Because I'm establishing myself as an expert in my industry, right? I'm sharing with you some of the things that I know so that you, when, you know, at some day, when you're thinking about it, you're going to say, hey, I think I should probably ask Sean that question because, you know, he talked about that before, and that's where the conversation is initiated, right? So that's inbound marketing. Outbound marketing is where you're initiating the conversation with the person that you're attracted to. So instead of you just waiting for them to come up to you, you're taking the bold move to step out and you're talking to them. And so this is things like email, sending out an email directly, picking up the phone, going to a networking event and handing out your business card. Now this is the awkward part because people don't like to go to a party and to initiate a conversation with somebody because it makes them feel like I'm gonna get rejected or they don't know what to think. so they're going to try to sit back and take all this inbound, right? I'm just going to position myself, and they're just going to only think about inbound marketing. The reality is you have to have a steady stream of both. Okay, inbound marketing, yes, position yourself, be attractive, give value, make content, but if you're not putting yourself out there, if you're not initiating the conversation, it's going to be a long time before you get some sort of inbound referral. So, and I think the reason why is because this is what we think about when we think about outbound marketing. I think this is some of you guys maybe standing out there like, hey, how you doing? And this is like going up to the girl and be like, hey, would you want to go to bed with me tonight? It doesn't work like that. No, get away from me. Right? And so this is the hard sale, like leave me alone. We're inundated with 3,000 marketing messages every single day, or commercial messages every day. And this is like us trying to catcall the girl that we're attracted to. It just doesn't work. I remember one time, I'll share this story. It's funny. I was at River Park, and there was Five Guys Burger right there. And there's these two guys they're eating hamburgers, and this girl walks by, and she's dressing provocatively, and this girl walks by, and they just stop. They like put their burgers down. Hey, girl, hey. And they're catcalling this girl, and she's just like, oh my gosh, like get away, And so I stopped and I looked at him. I said, bro, has that ever worked for you? His friend started busting up. He's like, I got him. It was funny. Okay, you guys could laugh. It's safe. That's why we're afraid of outbound marketing, because we don't want to seem like we're that guy. Okay, so don't be that guy. Still, when you're outbound marketing, when you're initiating a conversation, you can do it in such a way that you're still adding value to them. And so that's all what marketing is about. Okay, now disruption. This is a term that Silicon Valley people think they have some crazy term, and everybody like runs with it. And 5 years later, someone says it in Fresno, and then it gets popular. And so. So what is disruption? If you haven't read the book Beyond Disruption from John Marie Drew, it's a really good book. They did all the advertising for Apple and for like Absolute Vodka, and just brands that stand out. And these are brands that are really disrupting their market. So what is disruption? Disruption is this concept of, so there's convention, disruption, and then order, or this new way of doing things. And an example of that would be how Uber has disrupted the taxi or the travel industry, right? The taxi company had all the clients, they had all the leads, they had their market, and then all of a sudden they were sitting pretty in what they were doing, but they did not take advantage of technology. They were not changing at the same rate of consumer behavior. And if you're not changing your tactics at the same rate of consumer behavior or consumption, then you're going to feel some sort of pain, and some 13-year-old kid's going to come up with an app that's going to disrupt your market. And that's what happened with Airbnb in the travel industry. That's what happened with Google in how we search, and in libraries, and how we consume information. So there's this concept that I'm stealing from Aaron Pearson from Vital's agency in Arizona. What we do as brand strategists is we engineer disruption in a controlled environment before you're disrupted from external sources, right? And that's where brand strategy comes in. So think about how you can put yourself out of business before someone else does, because guess what? Your competitors are thinking about how they're going to try to put you out of business. So put yourself out of business. If you were your competitors, what would you do to disrupt your industry? How can you change things? And one way of doing that, and I'll give you a tactic a little bit later on, but instead of offering a variation of something that already exists, which a lot of people are doing, why not think about positioning yourself in such a way towards something completely different? You can't compete if you're the only to market, right? Nobody's competing with you because they're selling computers, right? Dell and IBM and all these companies are selling computers, but Apple is selling tools for creatives. We don't sell computers. Okay, so just think about stuff like that. All right, so that's branding, is people's gut feeling. They have that whether you're intentional about it or not. Marketing is starting a conversation. Inbound is where they're initiating it, and you have to do that. Outbound is where you're initiating it. And disruption is where convention is interrupted with some sort of new technology or something like that. Stumbling blocks that are preventing you guys from marketing yourself effectively. One of them is, I don't know who I am. Right? And I think a lot of you, when you haven't like perfected your quote elevator pitch, hey, what do you do? Well, I do this, crazy, and it's just like this. People are looking at you like, I'm trying to put the pieces together. I don't know. What did you just say? Okay, break that down for me. And just like after 2 minutes, they're just, I don't get it, because they're talking way over your head. Just simplify your message. Who are you? What do you do in simple terms? And I think a lot of times people see you like this because this is how you see yourself. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I stand for. I'm doing a little bit of this. I'm doing a little bit of this. I'm trying to do all things to all people, and I haven't really focused in on my niche market of this is what I'm trying to focus in on. So one of the stumbling blocks for you guys to market, and again, I know you guys are here for tactics, like, okay, what platform? I'm telling you guys, you're gonna waste money on Facebook because this is how people are gonna see you if you don't nail down your message. So clarity, get some sort of clarity as to who you are, what you do, what your brand stands for. Are you keeping up with your users? And so if your computer is looking like this, then you're feeling some sort of pain. And basically the point here is that going back to that point of disruption, if your tactics aren't changing at the same rate of consumer consumption and behavior, meaning I'm still trying to advertise the old way that I've always done in my industry, and I'm expecting a different result, right, than I'm getting, even though everybody that I'm trying to target is consuming information a different way now, then you're going to be feeling some sort of pain. Now, on the flip side, if you're in a very old industry, and by old industry, I mean an industry to where all the people that you're competing against haven't caught up with the way things are changing, then that gives you guys an advantage. And I'm just going to throw it out there, and there's nothing against, I love realtors. My dad is a realtor, but the real estate industry, at least in Fresno, hasn't caught up with the rate of change of consumer consumption. So that gives you, as a real estate agent, a competitive advantage of thinking, how can I use tech in a way that my competitors aren't? Okay, so anyway, are you keeping up with your users? If you're a bigger company, you have stakeholders, especially if you have C-suite executives where we've got the CEO, the CFO, the CIO, the CMO, the CTO. You have all these different people, and there's this shared vision of what the company stands for, but they have their own individual ideas and agendas of how that vision is going to be accomplished. Okay, so the CFO is coming from a financial standpoint, the CMO is coming strictly from a marketing standpoint, the CEO is looking at organizational stuff, and we have all the same goal, but we all have our own ideas of how that's going to come to fruition. And so we need to get together and get alignment, which is we all have the same goal and we all have the same path to get to that goal, so there's no tension, so there's no misalignment. This is what I call the shotgun marketing strategy, and I think we're all probably guilty of this. And does your marketing look like this? Meaning, I'm going to throw a Facebook ad out there. I'm going to start my Instagram account. I'm going to send an email. I'm going to start a newsletter. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to shoot everything I can at the window and see what sticks. And then nothing sticks. Therefore, marketing doesn't work for you, right? And that's what we say. Facebook marketing doesn't work. Or search engine optimization doesn't work. I've tried that, right? This is the shotgun method. Throw everything you can at the window, see what sticks, nothing sticks, and so now you just throw up your hands, you're like, yeah, whatever. Well, that's the shotgun method, and I think there's a better way, which I call the sniper rifle method, and we'll get into that. And so how do you overcome all those stumbling blocks? We do that through a structured framework we call brand strategy, okay? So that's what Butler Branding is. We are a brand strategy and design consultancy. So what does that mean? All we do in simple terms is we help brands connect with their users. That's all we do. We help brands connect with their users, and we do that through strategy. And this is the structured framework. This is me working myself out of a job, telling you how I do my framework so you don't even have to hire me, okay? Now, I'm cramming a 4-hour strategy session into, let me see how much more time, 15 more minutes. It's probably not going to happen, but if I go over, you'll forgive me, right? Are you guys still with me? Yeah. All right, good. So we have a structured framework where we talk about 4 things: business overview, user profiles, brand attributes, and we prioritize goals. So a business overview, a lot of you guys are like, well, if I do this on my own, I don't really need a business overview. I have an overview of my business. Well, I'm going to encourage you to spend 15 minutes talking about what your global business objectives are, and I'm stealing these terms. I'll go back to that slide. But global business objectives and your key performance indicators. So the global business objectives, this is your overarching why we exist as a brand, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish. What is the one thing, if we could sum it up in one sentence? For me, I help brands connect with their users through strategy and design. For Apple, it's we make tools for creatives, right? For you, it's whatever. That's what your global business objective is. Your KPIs, your key performance indicators, these are the things that are identifying that you're on the right track of meeting your global business objectives. And so for an example for us, our key performance indicators is people like me still. You're coming to events. You think my content is valuable. You're going to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You're going to subscribe to my email list, or you're going to contact me if you have any questions. These are indicators that I'm doing something right. For you, you might have different indicators. Obviously, profit and having more clients is an indicator, right? But going back here, so the goals of brand strategy is to do 4 things. One is define and differentiate your brand. So who are we? Let's define ourselves. And how can we be different? Because I don't want to just be a variation of something that already exists. I want to be something completely different. I want to understand and appeal to my users. Now, this is the most important part of brand strategy, because without them, there's no you. Without your users, without your customers, the people you're serving, you don't exist and you're irrelevant. And the moment you stop being relevant to your customers, they're going to go to your competitors, right? So you have to really focus in on who am I trying to serve, what are their pain points, how can I help them win, what are they trying to accomplish in life and at work, and how can I make their lives better, and how can I be different than the guys down the street who are saying they do the same thing as me. So I want to define and differentiate. I want to understand and appeal to my users. I want to prioritize my marketing efforts and then strategize the creative execution. Everybody wants to do the creative execution first. Okay, hey, I need a website, and that's what people come to me for. Nobody comes to me for brand strategy. Nobody has ever called me and said, hey, I need a brand strategist to tell me how to identify and differentiate my brand. Can you help me? No, they say, hey, I need a website design. And I say, okay, why do you think you need a website design? Well, look at it. Oh, yeah, I mean, it looks a little dated, but what exactly are you trying to accomplish? Well, I'm not getting any customers from it. Oh, okay, so really you're trying to generate inbound leads is what you're wanting to do. Yeah, okay, well, tell me a little bit about it. And so I ask more questions, right? They're coming to me for what they feel the need is, but in actuality, we need to do these things. All right, user profile. So this is my user profile exercise. If you guys have Notepad, I would take down as many notes as you can in this point, because this is the most important part of brand strategy. Answering the questions, what are their questions that they have, what are their challenges, what are their pain points, and what are their wins? What are they like? Meaning, I don't want to just, we're targeting females between the age of 30 to 45 in Clovis and these zip codes. Now, those are demographic, those are very cold statistics, right? So let's warm up those numbers by giving them a name. What are their stories? Like, she's a soccer mom and she drives a Prius as well as her minivan, and her pain point is she's not only a soccer mom, but she's got a part-time job and her husband's at work, and so we're putting ourselves in her shoes, right? So what are they like? Who and what are their influences, right? So what books are they reading? Who are they looking up to on the news, in the media? Who are their influences? What are their values? Are they conservative? Are they liberal? Are they religious? Are they not? Are they very secular? What are their values, and how can we appeal to those? What are their felt needs, right? People are coming to me for web design. So guess what I have to do? I have to have a web design page on my website to cater to you guys, because you don't think you need brand strategy. But it's okay. I know what your felt needs are, and so I'm going to create that kind of content. What should be on your website? And I'm going to answer those types of questions. What types of content do they consume? Is it audio? Is it video? Is it written? Are they looking at blogs? Should you do a blog? I don't know. Are your users looking at blogs? Should I do a Facebook page? I don't know. Are your users on Facebook? Are they on Snapchat? Probably not. If you're targeting females between the age of 60 and up or whatever, Snapchat might not be the platform for you. So what do I need? I don't know. What are your users looking at? Where is their attention, right? And so what types of content do they consume, and where are they consuming that type of content? All right, brand attributes. This is, okay, now that we've talked about our global business objectives, our key performance indicators, what keeps us on track, how we know we're achieving our goals. We know who our users are. Now let's focus on us. Who are we? What do we stand for? These are the brand attributes, right? And so we have 5 categories up here: culture, users, benefits, values, and X factor. And typically what I do is I have a chart on a whiteboard, and I put down each one of these categories in its own column. And I fill up that column with as many words as I can to describe each one of those things. Okay, I didn't put the definitions up there. So culture, what do you mean by culture? What is our culture? The best way I describe culture is like, what is the vibe? Right? If you walk into Bitwise, you guys automatically stepped into a different vibe than your office, right? This is kind of the culture, the atmosphere. But it goes a little bit deeper than just the vibe. It goes into, like, how are we? What are we like? Are we quirky? Are we very professional? But how do we define professional? For me, Butler is a professional organization, but we're not sterile, right? We're not a corporate, like, cold, stuffy environment. We're professional in the sense that we know what we're talking about, and we want to serve our clients, and we'll get down to business, but we don't take ourselves too serious. So we're fun at the same time as knowledgeable, helpful. That's the type of culture we've created. Users, words to describe our users, and not just positive ones, but maybe negative ones. If you are, I don't know what kind of industry you're in, but if your users are stressed, then let's put that on there. Or if they are busy, if they're fast-paced, if they're kind of narrow focus, if they're risk-averse. What are all these words that describe our users? The benefits. Okay, now think about this. Don't answer it out loud, but what is the difference between a benefit and a value? I think a lot of people, including myself, before someone told me and I read it, I kind of got them confused. So think about features, benefits, and values, right? So a feature is the tangible product. This is what I do. I do web design, or I sell homes. That's the feature. I give leg room, or whitening toothpaste. That's the feature. The benefit is the advantage that the customer gets from using your product. So whitening toothpaste, the advantage is a brighter smile. The values, however, are underlying motivations that cause us to want to buy that product or service. Right? So the benefit is the advantage they get, whiter teeth. The values is I get self-confidence, right? I feel good about myself. And so when you're talking in your marketing copy, start with the values. What are the underlying motivations that are going to help you gain their trust? And so that's what values are. And so basically, if you think of headlines, taglines, and body copy, think of the headlines as appealing to the values. The tagline is appealing to the values and the benefits, and then the body copy is appealing to all of those, values, benefits, and features. That was worth $100,000 to you guys if you really grabbed that. X factor is your point of differentiation. So how do we radically differentiate ourselves from our competition? Again, it's like, well, I don't know, I sell computers. Well, that's how Apple had to get creative in their marketing. No, we don't sell computers, we sell tools for creatives. And so that's how I had to get creative in my marketing. No, we don't sell branding. We help brands connect with their users, right? We sell strategy. Well, nobody wants strategy, but they want clarity. They want alignment across their team. They want results, right? And so you got to think about what is our X factor. All right, let me see, how am I doing on time? 7 minutes, all right. You guys cool if I go like 3-4 minutes over time? Okay, raise your hand if I could have 1 minute. 1 minute, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I get 10 minutes, all right. All right, so user's journey. So you got to map out the user's journey. Okay, so think about your brand, how customers are coming to you. A lot of times they're going in for the kill. Hey, you want to come to bed with me tonight? It doesn't work like that. You got to kind of, I'm not teaching people how to do this. All right, so let me think of another analogy real quick. No. We got to go from, we're bringing users through what we call a funnel, right? Out of X amount of people who've been made aware of your company, X amount of people will do some further research to find a little bit more about you. And out of those people, only a couple of them will reach out to you and talk to you and have a conversation. And out of those people that engage with you, only a handful will convert into an actual customer. And then those that convert into a customer will be loyal fans and who will advocate for your brand and tell other people about it. And that's what we really want is referrals, right? So this is kind of the funnel. Now what you do here in the exercise is you fill in all of the different things, the different brand experiences at each point of the brand conversion, or I'm sorry, of the conversion funnel. So awareness. One example for us would be search engine optimization. People who've never heard about Butler, they go online, they do a Google search for web design, and they see, boom, Butler Branding. Another thing would be this event. How many of you guys have never heard of Butler Branding before tonight? There you go. Now you're made aware. Congratulations. You are now here. Right? Now you're going to do some more research. Does this guy know what he's talking about? You're going to check out our YouTube. You're going to check out our website. And so fill in all of the different things in each column. So research for us would be our website. People check out your website. For most people, it's website. It'll be your social media. It might be they sign up for an email newsletter if you're doing email marketing. Engagement is at what point are they engaging with us? Is it through a phone call? Is it through an email? Is it through face-to-face? Is it at an event? And so all the different brand experiences here. Conversion, at what point do they convert and how can we help them advocate for us? Like, do we have a customer loyalty program, things like that. And so you're putting down all the brand experiences on here through the conversion funnel, and then what you're going to do is you're going to prioritize them based on what's the most impactful to your brand that we're going to focus on, right? So for us, we could possibly put in awareness Twitter and Pinterest and all these different social media platforms that I'm probably not going to focus on, but how many of you guys heard about us through Facebook? Right? So a large majority of us have heard about this through Facebook. So that's where we're putting our efforts, right? And so we're going to prioritize our marketing efforts through the conversion funnel. All right, so this is our structured framework, business overview, user profiles, brand attributes, prioritize your goals. Again, this is a 10, 15-minute condensed version of a 3 to 4 hour session. But I'm not trying to sell you on brand strategy because you can get all this content for free on our YouTube channel. I'm giving it away, right? And I have articles and blogs and all this stuff. So just take it, right? Do it yourself. Especially if you have no money, because I don't work for free. So if you have no money, you have sweat equity, right? This is where you're investing in your business. So when I first started my business, I didn't have any marketing budget, so I had to bootstrap and do it myself. I had to stay up late. I had to figure all this stuff out. How do I do it? And so at least all the tools and stuff are there for you. Content stacking. Now this is where you guys get excited. You guys excited for this part? All right. This is the tactics. This is what you guys came here for, the felt need. I want to learn how to market my business, or I want to know how to create content. So this is one strategy that we've implemented that has saved me time, money, and mental powers, right? Because I'm only so creative. I don't want to think about, like, how am I going to make a different blog post every day? How am I going to make 15 different videos and all these? I can only be so creative, right? My mental capacity is only so much. So there's this concept that I call content stacking, and think about it like this. It's just making, you have one big idea, and I'm going to give you an example for a corporate video. You could do this for an ebook, you could do this for a training seminar, you could do this for whatever you want, just so you have a big idea. Here's our corporate video, right? And this is what I call your primary content. Well, for us to make primary content, your corporate video, that is split up into several different pieces, right? That we would call supporting content. So your primary content is built up of your supporting content. You guys still with me? Yep. All right. So we have this awesome corporate video. That's our big idea. Well, what's going to go inside of our video? What are we going to talk about? Well, maybe we can split this up. Like the first 30 seconds, let's talk about our history. Maybe we had humble beginnings, or maybe I have a background of, like, my father was in this, or this is how I got into the industry, or maybe you want to talk about your culture. You guys have a fun culture, whatever. We're going to have a 30-second spot about our company culture, our history, how we got started. Then we're going to have 90 seconds talking about our products and our services. But what are we going to lead with? Values, product, or features, or benefits? Values, right? So in each one of these segments, you're going to focus on the values. You're going to talk about the features and the benefits, but you're going to focus on the values. And for most people, I put 3 services up there because if you have a product or service, it's usually not one thing. It's a few things, right? So again, going back to real estate, if you're in real estate, you don't just help people buy homes. You help people sell homes too, right? So that's 2 different services. You also maybe help people get funding, so lending and things like that. So you have different services. So we'll call these supporting services 1, 2, and 3. So we have a 30-second spot about our culture. We have 30 seconds for each one of our services, focusing in on the values. And then we have a testimonial that corresponds with each one of these services. So, hey, I helped this person get into a home, or I helped this person sell a home, or hey, I helped this person find funding when nobody else could help them, or whatever the case might be, right? So you have a testimonial. And so this is what makes up our awesome corporate videos. We have history, video for each one of our products, and a video testimonial. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to stretch this because I'm cheap and lazy, and I want to make this one awesome corporate video into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos. So I've just made 8 videos, which corresponds to 8 different blog posts, which corresponds to 8 different YouTube listings, and I'm basically making my content stretch all across the internet from one awesome corporate video. Well, guess what? I can't just like think of this stuff to put in the video. I have to kind of script it out. How am I going to script it out? I got to write it down. What should I do with the writing? Should I just throw it away when I'm done? No, I'm going to create blog posts out of those. Why? Because that's content on my website, and I'm lazy, and I don't want to create more content, so I'm going to create it from here. So we have one awesome corporate video made up of 8 pages or blog posts on your website, 8 videos, 16 social media posts, and 4 email newsletters just from one piece of content. Guys, come on, you could clap for that. This is, okay, so this, again, saves me time, money, mental superpowers, because I'm just creating one piece of primary content, splitting it up into all these different pieces, and so here's what you're going to do with it. You're going to get your awesome corporate video, you're going to put it on your website, on your homepage, or your about page. You're going to put it on Facebook, right, because videos directly on Facebook will automatically play through people's timelines, so when they're scrolling through their timeline, those videos, they automatically place because they put it directly to Facebook rather than linking out to YouTube because Facebook wants to be like YouTube or something like that. So, put it on your website, put it on directly on Facebook, and then put it directly on YouTube. And YouTube, why am I saying YouTube? It's the 2nd largest search engine in the world next to Google, right? So video marketing is big. I just watched a talk from Guy Kawasaki who was saying that if you're a CEO, if you're just getting started, 2 things you need to learn that he should have learned back in the day was graphics and video, because those are the 2 things that are appealing to people nowadays. So put it on your website, Facebook, and YouTube. Then you're going to get each one of your supporting videos, put it on Facebook, YouTube, and also Instagram. Why Instagram? Because Instagram is owned by Facebook. They integrate really well together, and you only got to put it on Instagram, and it automatically shares to Facebook. And again, I'm lazy, right? Instagram allows for up to a 1-minute video. So each one of the supporting videos have it less than 1 minute. Well, guess what? It's only 30 seconds, right? So you can put it on Instagram. Then you're going to get your written content, that's your script, and you're going to create a blog post or an article or a page on your website. Guess what? Google searches the internet for content, written content. If you put a picture of your product, they don't know what that picture is unless you title it correctly. You got to give some sort of context to that and write about it. Well, guess what? You already have the writing because you scripted out the video. So you're going to take that writing, put it on your website, put the video on your website, then share these pages on Facebook. That makes sense? You guys still with me? Yeah. All right, then you're going to get each one of those pages. And I don't like spamming people with emails all the time, and so I'm going to do 1 email a month and send a newsletter, but I'm going to give value, right? So each one of the values that I'm going to appeal to in each one of these services, I'm going to create some other piece of content that I'm going to share and give value, but I'm also going to share what we actually do. And so I have 4 email newsletters. Got it? Yeah. That is it. So hold on, let me see. We have, okay, I'm 2 minutes past, and I think we did pretty good. You guys good? You still with me? All right, that's all the tactics that I'm going to give you guys for tonight, but here's the thing. You can use this content stacking idea for an ebook because an ebook is a big idea about whatever it is you do, but it's made up of different chapters. And if you're like me, I like reading the books not with a chapter that has 15 straight pages with no breaks. I like the chapters that have like little breaks in them, you know, it's got like a headline, so I could put my bookmark in there, not read the whole chapter, I could get to it later. Well, that's a section, right? So each one of these sections of your ebook could become a blog post. And so there's different ways, just be a little bit creative. Again, if you want to copy this slide deck, email me directly. I'm not going to send it to everybody. You have to get my card, email me, say, hey, send me the slide deck, and I'll do that. There is a blog post and an article on content stacking, and it goes a little bit deeper into the ebook tactic. And that's about it. If you guys follow us on YouTube, you could get more of this type of content. The rest of this night is about you guys now networking with other businesses, right? So this is going to be a severe waste of your time if you get all this stuff and you're like, oh man, that was cool. And then like you don't do anything about it. I'm just going to encourage you guys to do something with this, right? I'm giving you all the tools. I just gave you everything. I gave you the tactics. I'm like, here's my slide deck. Here's this other thing. Here's a worksheet. You want it? Take it. Do it. Right? Ask me questions. Why? Because I believe in the law of reciprocity. What goes around comes around. So I'm just trying to give value. I'm trusting that the law of reciprocity comes back because people are going to say, hey, you know what? Thank you for giving me value. I want to add value for you. So I'm not asking anything of you guys except for to actually try to do something with this because I want to hear some stories from you guys like, man, I did content stacking and this is how we did it. This was the type of engagement we got from it. This is the type of, we had this many likes and shares. I want to hear those types of stories. So if you guys find value in what we're doing tonight, please send me a shout out on Facebook or email. Let me know how it's working for you guys. I do want to give a couple of shout outs. Is Isaac still here from Good Times? He must be outside. Isaac from Good Times Party. He is the DJ. He is hooking it up with the music tonight. Guys, if you haven't stopped by his booth, go stop by, say hi, get a card, introduce yourself. The coffee, I am a big coffee drinker, and it was hard for me to pronounce, but Valparaiso Cafe, they donated the coffee tonight. I will again thank Rezcom Group, Amir, they've been a huge help to my business, have helped me expand my network. And so if you guys haven't met Amir, you guys need to meet Amir because Amir is like a connector. He knows pretty much every business owner. And so if you need connections, just hit up Amir, and he's the guy to know. April 5th. Mark it in your calendars, guys. April 5th, Coffee and Marketing. We're having another one of these events, but it's going to be on a much smaller scale, but you guys are going to get a 2-week head start from anybody else before I send it out to my entire email list. And the only way I'm going to send it to you is if you registered at the front table. So if you have not registered at the front table and your email isn't there, make sure you do that, because even the people that pre-registered, they're not here, they're not going to get that email. It's only you guys who came here tonight will get first dibs on that event. So with that being said, we are done. Go ahead and chop it up, and I will see you guys out there.